Hey everyone, it's your guy Antoine Pixley, and today we have a very special episode of Wake Up Uncensored. Now, as many of you may know, I love soap operas. When I was a kid, I saw my mom and my grandma watch All My Children, One Life to Live, and even General Hospital. But one of the storylines, and one of my favorite soaps, is All My Children, and one of the storylines that stood out to me was always Ryan and Jillian. We had the Angies and the Jessies, the Haley and Mateos, but you two just caught my attention. I don't know what it was. I just remember I watched a couple of episodes and I was like, I want to know more about them and the storyline. It seemed very organic, very honest, and the chemistry was just undeniable. So my first question is, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you two, after seeing each other after all these years?
For me, it's just like love. Like as soon as I saw her, I just almost got emotional. Like I love this woman so much, and we went through such a special time. You know, obviously our characters had something really unique and a great chemistry, but that came from you know, the two of us really connecting as people. And as soon as I saw her, it was just like all those kind of incredible memories. One of the best times of my entire life were the 4 years that we overlapped on All My Children, and yeah, just memories kind of come flooding.
So I want you guys to take us back to the very first time that you met Cameron. What was your first impression of Esta?
Well, but honestly, you got to remember, like I was a new guy. There was already a young storyline on All My Children, right? There was Jillian, T.C. Warner, who played Kelsey, and then Scott Chandler, played by Danny Cosgrove. There's the three of them already going. They kind of brought me in to add some flair. So I was the new guy in. So when I first met Esta, first of all, I mean, she's smoking hot, and I know, like, I'm like, wow. She was also a little intimidating because she already had this close relationship with Danny, and they were goofing and laughing and having fun and pawing on each other, and I'm like the new guy in, and I really wanted, like, I was crazy about her, and I wanted to fit in, but I was intimidated.
You were?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you going to ask me my first
What was your
thoughts?
first impression when you met Cameron?
I thought, damn, I just got married.
You did in real life. You had just got
Yeah,
married.
she was telling me that. Yeah.
Oh, I was single at the time. You see?
Yeah, that's my first thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, my screen test was with Esta.
I remember you saying that. What was it like? Were you nervous when you screened?
Do you remember the screen test?
Yes.
In the middle of the screen test, you know, like it was already on. Like I was working with Esta, and I'm like, I had no real intention of moving to New York. Like I was living in Toronto at the time, and for me, it was like this cool opportunity to work with this woman in the scene, and I had to like undress and try and seduce her, and like, you know, I was shirtless, maybe even pantless. I don't remember in this scene, and I think I was originally auditioning to be Adam Chandler's Fix-It Man or something. But that was the screen test, and I was nervous, but I was also super connected to you.
Yeah.
You remember that? I got a copy of it. I found it.
I looked for it, but I couldn't find it online.
They played it on Good Morning America when All My Children was wrapping up.
I didn't know that.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh my
Because
goodness,
I
I would
remember
love
they
to
put
see
it,
that.
I'm sorry. I remember they put it online and then they just took it off.
Really?
It was like, I think the beginning of it played, and then they just cut the rest. I don't know who uploaded it on YouTube, but somebody did.
I think I have a copy. I should do
Okay, I would love to see it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Ryan and Jillian, we got to talk about Ryan and Jillian. Ryan and Jillian, they were this passionate, hot couple. Can you talk? I want you guys to talk to us about the journey and what it meant to you to play those characters.
You go.
It was an extremely intense journey, I feel, and it's very difficult to even put into words, but it was something just really almost extraordinary, like magical, like
Totally agree.
yeah, I'm
I'm gonna cry. Okay.
It's true though. It was at a time. It was 1997 was when I came in. I don't remember exactly when Esta started, but 1997, and I'm a little older than Esta, but I felt like a baby coming in, and it was this new phase of my life where I was moving from Canada into New York. I was moving to New York, on All My Children,
Yeah.
working with Esta and with TC and with Danny, and it was like the Ryan and Jillian storyline, and we were studying with a great acting coach in New York at the time too, and there was like this freedom and excitement, and there was a great connection between the two of us, and how we would like work together, and then we would study together, and then we would be so safe with each other, because we were just, I was very green. I think Esther had more experience as an actress than I did at that time. But for me, it was like the two characters were kind of finding themselves. And I think in many ways, us as individuals were doing the same thing. Like, I mean, Esther from South Africa in New York, me from Canada in New York, and then the two characters coming together, and like we would like hung on to each other, figuratively, but hung on to each other just so tightly, just because that was our safety blanket,
Yeah.
for me anyway.
Yeah, we just had an incredible friendship. Yeah.
Why do you think audiences resonated so well with Ryan and Jillian?
It was real.
Yes, I think
think it
so.
was-
I
I
think
agree,
so.
I agree.
They resonated, because it was just so raw and real, and like everything that we were kind of going through, we were going through on one level or another when, as people and as friends and as people that really cared deeply for each other. And it was like, it was especially exciting because we got to work on these things with this incredible acting coach, Tanya Bears, and then come to set and then be friends and be close. And it felt so genuine. And in fact, when it ended and the character of Jillian was killed, it was so it kept me up at night. Like, it was so painful. Like, I was bawling my eyes out. Like, it was so weird to be in so much pain. I mean, I don't know what you call that, but anyway, I just remembered all the emotions. So I remember also on the same that when she started messing around with Dr. David Hayward, the same character on the show. And I remember I was like walking through the hallway, and I knew it was happening up on set, but I had this like mild jealousy. And everybody in the hair and makeup room were like screaming and yelling at how sexy and hot it was. And I was like it broke my heart. Like, it was almost as if your girl was cheating on you, but everybody was rooting it on and saying how amazing it was, and you're kind of like left out in the cold. Like, there was real emotions. For me, it was very, very mixed with the character. Yeah.
When did you two realize that Ryan and Jillian were big? Because we, as fans in the audience, we knew that the characters were huge, this huge power couple on the show. But when did you two have that moment when you saw that Ryan and Jillian were just like out of the world? Like,
I remember Jeannie, this executive producer, called us in, and she said she just wants to prepare us that we're gonna. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember the meeting, but I don't remember what she said.
She said that we're gonna be big.
Oh.
And I was very confused. I was like, okay, didn't know
What she was trying to tell us.
what she was trying to tell us.
And then Judy Wilson, who cast us both, I remember we had our first magazine cover together, and that was a big deal in soaps, right? So it's like this. It's like this bubble of the world, right? We've got our own award show, we've got our own magazines, our own press. It's like this, and when you make it on one of when you're the sole couple on the cover of one of the magazines, it's a big deal. And I remember Judy brought us in, and she just said, like, listen, congratulations on the magazine. I think I even said it. I said, you see the magazine? We got our first magazine. Like, I was all excited. And she's like, Cameron, it's about the work. Don't let it get to your head. You two are very special together. It's about the work. You keep doing the work and working hard as an actor and connecting with each other. Don't worry about the press. All that stuff will come. But don't because I would easily get sidetracked into what was not important. So she kind of tried to keep me coming back, Yeah.
But I don't think I actually ever realized that we were big.
Yeah.
really?
No,
Why not?
I don't know. I never really paid that much attention.
Because even
It's good.
now.
Sorry.
Oh no! Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's a good attitude.
Even now, when people talk about the Ryan and Jillian storyline, and they talk about who Ryan is with over the years, the number one person that they're like, they want to see Ryan with is, they're like, where's Esther? Where's Esther? Like, they're like, them two, you guys were like kindred souls on the show. And again, Rebecca, she's amazing. They love Ryan and Greenlee.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
It's always Ryan and Jillian. Because we don't really see you guys too often together. you guys hadn't really done. I know back then things were a little bit differently. You didn't do a lot of interviews together, or it wasn't, I guess, publicized at the time as much.
Well, there was no social media. There was like specific interviews back then. It was specific press. Like now, people just do whatever press and stuff they want through social media and through the internet and streaming and everything else, and YouTube and whatever.
Yes.
There was none of that. There was barely even cable. I mean, there was just like the main channels, the network TV, and yeah, so it's true. I mean, Ryan and Jillian, and then Greenlee and Leo then Ryan and Greenlee ended up going because Leo and Jillian, both were killed on the show. But everybody knows that was, that they were the, what's it called, the soul.
Anyway. You probably know it better than me.
we were meant to be.
Do you two have a favorite storyline together that you've experienced?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and it was really difficult for me to come with one because there were so many.
So let's just talk about some of my favorite Ryan and Jillian things, and it's really mostly Jillian things, but some of my favorite stuff is Esta, I don't know how you felt about it, but Esta, they would write in the script sometimes some of the mess ups with words.
Oh my!
Because she would do it occasionally.
No,
like very subtle
all the time.
And so they started writing it in the scripts because they found it so endearing. And that was always everybody's favorite. Like everybody's favorite was like the sweet little comedy aspect that Jillian would have with her language and the messing it up a little bit.
I still do that all the time.
But Esther, I remember when I watched those beginning scenes of you on the show, you were really like a firecracker. Like you would come in and your character Jillian would tell it how it was. She didn't care if you liked it, disliked it. Like you really was just like a straight shooter. And then I think when you got with Ryan, I feel like Ryan kind of softened Jillian up a little bit.
And I think Jillian softened Ryan up. I think 100%. I came in as like a con artist and edgy and all that. And then, so back to your point, my favorite storyline, I think it was one of the best storylines that I remember since How Time on All My Children was, we were this young couple of kids on the show. She came from a lot of money, her character, and thought that I was rich, but ultimately she came from a lot of money, but she was broke at the time. The Andrashi, whatever, where they ran out of money. But then here comes this guy who's a con artist, and I just pretended to be like loaded and come from this lineage of, I can't remember, of wealth.
It was Liza who put you two together.
Yeah,
because she was going to marry Scott. And
I think Liza maybe even came up with it.
Yeah.
And so Jillian, who was broke, was in love with Ryan because she thought he had a lot of money, and Ryan was a con artist lying about having lots of money and going after her because she was a princess and clearly had a lot of money. And then ultimately they found out they got together. I think they even got married, and then found out that each other was broke. But then fell in love like beautifully. So for me, that storyline was very like, I don't know, I think it was a great storyline.
I agree. Do you guys have any? Oh, go ahead.
No.
I was going to ask, do you guys have any behind the scenes stories that you want to share? Like things that we as fans probably don't know? Special moments?
Well, let's think. It was a long time ago, so we have to think about this.
Yeah, it was hard to remember.
It's hard to remember some of the fun stuff behind the scenes. I mean, there was a lot of goofing and laughing behind the scenes. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of... Yeah, you know what I mean? It was like...
That one time in Chicago.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember when I tripped?
Yeah. No, tell me.
No.
You tripped in Chicago?
Uh-uh.
Yes, you did. You just said you tripped. We had some good time. We did appearances together. Went on the road together. We had some fun.
I remember you guys did an appearance with, I believe it was it Catherine Hicklin and Michael E. Knight?
We did?
Yeah, you guys did.
Oh my God.
It was Super Soap Weekend.
Oh yeah,
oh,
sure.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
That was a highlight.
Yeah. He actually said that you two were two of the nicest people that he had ever met on the show during that time.
He's such a nice guy.
He's an awesome dude.
Yeah, I remember he said that you guys were very respectful and just very humble. So I thought that was really nice and really thoughtful.
So
appreciate that. Yeah.
Now I have to say, the chemistry between Ryan and Jillian was undeniable. Again, that's what drew me in as an audience member. watching the show. Again, I had seen so many people on the show, and I was like, I don't know what it is about them, but I just want to know more. It just felt very real. So I want to ask, was that chemistry instant? Did it develop over time? Like, talk to us about the chemistry.
I think for me, it got stronger over time as I got to know him better. And why are you looking at me?
No. I'm thinking back. No, that makes sense. For me, the chemistry exactly strengthened over time. My attraction to Esta was strong from the start. Like my attraction to Esta was strong from the start, but that doesn't matter. Like you have to have we had to really kind of trust and be connected, be able to look each other's eyes, and basically fall in love, and that for sure took some time. Not as much time for me, but maybe a little time for Esta.
I got you.
But I do want to say something, and that is that I knew people were always freaking out about when he took his shirt off, and to me, I was never freaking out so much about it. And then last year at some point, I went online or something, and I saw his abs with the scars, and for the first time, I freaked out, and I thought, wow, that is the most beautiful upper body I've ever seen with your scars.
And Cameron, you talking
really
about?
truly mean that.
Oh, that was a moment. Cameron, I remember you spoke about how you would take your shirt off at times to look good, and then having cancer kind of changed that for you. Now it's like when you take your shirt off, it's to kind of show the journey that you had been through when you had cancer.
Yeah, I had kidney cancer back in 2019, and obviously they had to cut me open a little bit and kind of get it out there, which was, life or death sort of deal, and it was a little bit of an emotional journey as well as a physical one. I'd sort of identified, and this is not necessarily a good thing, but I identified in many ways being, this guy who was in this look aesthetically, with a certain physique, and so it shifted in my mind a little bit. It took a little bit of work to realize that, to be proud of the scars and the changes, and knowing now that even when I was at my aesthetically probably visually, the best in shape, I wasn't the healthiest. Like I did a lot of unhealthy things, like tons of supplements, and back in the day, ephedra was legal, and I was taking it was in cutting supplements, and I would eat protein bars and protein shakes and bowls of cereal, and I would just eat, it wasn't. And now I'm eating great quality, real food, balanced diet. I'm working on my health and my gut health and my, making sure my blood sugar and my hormones are balanced and things. And from that, I get so much, and I know I'm in decent shape, but not like that. But I feel so much better about showing off scars, transformation. I'm in good shape. I'm healthy. That it's a different thing that I'm trying to project now than just being, aesthetically in a certain physique look.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah. Oh, I was Vanessa, my wife, used to call me the unhealthiest, healthy-looking guy she's ever seen.
I would agree,
Really?
because watching you, I would never think that you were unhealthy.
I was just pounding tons of coffee. I was taking cutting supplements, no illegal drugs or anything like that, but it doesn't matter. I was taking tons of creatine and protein shakes and protein bars that were full of crap. These days they're making more natural ones, and nothing wrong with some of these things, but when you're literally living off of them and eating very little real food, very little prepared food from home, just to kind of get, a certain look, it's not the healthiest way to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a teachable moment.
No, it's true. It's true. Yeah, real food, everybody. Real food. Just stuff that you can prepare at home. Processed food, refined sugars, all that stuff's gonna kill you.
During that time on All My Children, before you got married, you didn't have a person who cooked, or were you just always just eating whatever you could get, pretty much?
Yeah, used to when I first got on All My Children, I had this tiny little apartment. I had this kitchen that literally had I had curtains on the wall. It was just like a wall. I was part of a wall. Just stuck. This was my kitchen in this little apartment, and I would prepare all my food, and I would do it in the fridge, and And then that just kind of died out, and then I just started like ordering food from places. Like I mean, it lasted like 6 months, and I saved money doing it, and I was on a budget, and I was so good. And then it just once you start making money and whatever, then I just started ordering food from restaurants, and, but also just eating supplements. And,
I got you.
it's not good.
I want to talk to you guys about the love scenes between Ryan and Jillian because we loved them, and we want to know, how did you two prepare for love scenes? Because it really seemed real. Like when we watch them, we're like, okay, is this TV or is it real life? Like that's how real it came across from a viewer perspective. So how did you two prepare for those scenes? And did you two have a certain level of trust to bring out the best performance in one another?
It's good that you went there because number one, first and foremost, these were like revealing scenes in soaps. You get close to naked and you kind of get in the sheets and you're rolling around making out, and you like first and foremost wanted to make sure everybody was comfortable. You know what I mean? Like we were good and respectful, and you don't want to like, you got to be definitely aware of that. Now, was it still enjoyable? Like I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it was.
No, it was really difficult. I mean, no, I'm kidding.
It was, it was awesome. It was fun, and how did we prepare for them? I mean, you didn't sit in your dressing room and start making out and rolling around. But
no, we never did that.
No,
we never actually practiced that.
No, you never practiced that.
No.
But you had to you'd have to rehearse the scene. Like you'd be like, all right, so you're over here. When those scenes on a soap are directed,
it's extremely technical. It's like
so
you
crazy.
go there, you put your arm there, you move here. So it's
you roll over here. This light's on you. You say your line.
Then you put here, you sit there, you do this. So it's extremely.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, and you're thinking, you're like, wait, what am I supposed to do? And like it's so fast and technical.
Yes.
It's crazy that people can make it look as beautiful and as loving as it is.
And then when the camera rolls, you gotta do it all as if now it looks natural, and you gotta
gentle and move the hair off your face and
Yeah.
move slow and the thing. I remember my first kiss with Esta. It was so embarrassing because the director had to come down and show me how to kiss on camera.
Really?
Like yeah. He was like, no, come here, man, come here. What are you doing? And he'd said it over the thing. And it was Jim Baffico, and he said, fix that. And he came down. It was so embarrassing because I was nervous. Like I said,
I was going to ask for you.
It was our first date. Like it was my second day on set, and I had to come in and I had to burst into the room, grab her, and kiss her.
When she cut the tie.
Is that when she cut the tie?
That was the scene when she cut the tie.
Okay.
Wait, what did he say to you?
I can't remember, but he's like, you gotta grab her and turn her around and kiss her and be in control. I was like too delicate and soft and hesitant, and I was like too nervous, and I was a kid who had never kissed. I don't think I'd ever kissed on camera before. Maybe in one movie that I'd done, but no, not like this.
So that was your first real on-camera experience.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Wow, that's
I remember that.
We learning more and more people, more and more.
Jim Baffico, man, he was awesome. He didn't pull any punches either. I mean, I felt like a doofus.
You live and you learn.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Esther, what about you? Like, how did you feel? Like, were you nervous at times, or did you just like go with the flow?
I think with Cameron, the love scenes was definitely the easiest because I had to do love scenes with, some of the other actors.
You did, I remember.
And with Cameron, they were the most fun and the easiest, most comfortable for sure.
Was it because you two had a certain level, of trust from one another that?
Yeah, he just made it more enjoyable. It was more comfortable.
Yeah, there was a comfort level for sure. Like,
yeah.
It's
became more
ridiculous.
natural.
Like she's wearing, I don't remember exactly, but like flesh-colored bikini, kind of, like basically
like
flesh-colored so you don't see it.
Bodysuit.
And I'm wearing like a flesh-colored Speedo. Like it's not.
Sexy
it's not
at
sexy.
all.
You know what I mean?
No.
And I never could figure that out. It's like, if you're not going to show my butt, then why do I have to have a flesh-colored Speedo? Why can't I just wear my underwear? Like, either you're going to show my butt or you're not going to show my butt.
Just in case they show your butt.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe, I don't know. But so you got to be there. You got to be with somebody that you feel comfortable with.
That brings out the best performance.
Yeah.
How did you two how do you remember your lines? Because I heard in soap operas that you have to learn quick.
It's insane.
And you typically have to do everything.
He
in
was
one
he
take.
was great. He always
I got great. I mean,
lines.
it took me a while, but
I never remembered my lines. Yes, so I had a really hard time remembering my lines.
it's
Cameron,
a lot. It's insane.
it is
and
a
apparently
lot.
it's way more now. Twice as much now.
No way.
Twice. Every day. Yeah, because they're shooting way more in less time. So
Is it because of COVID?
no, it's because the budget on soaps has shrunk, and so they take more weeks off. So there's 17 weeks where they don't shoot at all.
Okay.
So those 17 weeks are still airing. So you got to shoot those 17 weeks in the rest of the year.
Okay.
Oh my
So it's just jammed
Wow.
all the time, and I'm gonna find out. I'm nervous because the brain's not working
You
quite
can't.
well.
I don't think it's
it
too
works
bad.
great.
We'll see.
You'll be just
I
fine.
think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine. Do you guys prepare? Is it like you come in the morning and you do like a quick run through, and then because I remember Erica Slazak said you would come in. It's almost like theater. You would do something called
Drama.
I think a dress or something.
Yeah.
Where the director, it's pretty much for lighting purposes. They would say,
Yeah,
well, you
blocking.
stand here, you stand there,
Yeah.
blocking, and then immediately after that, the director said, we're going to shoot.
Yeah.
Was it?
Oftentimes like that. When you're Erica Slazak, you go blocking straight to shoot, and I think now they only block and shoot. So they block a scene, which just means, like you say, just positions, like what camera's on what and where you say each line, and then you go to the beginning and you shoot it. I mean, that's all you do. So yeah, we come to set and go through our hair and makeup and stuff, and then when we're both free, we'd get together and something, you run lines and you go over the lines with each other. If you're alone, you can tape record and play the other people's lines back to you. That's one trick. Another trick I like to walk when I do my lines, so I'll, like just something about the movement and helps me kind of memorize. There was a hallway at all my children along the windows, and I would just walk back and forth along that hallway and try and memorize lines. So you run lines with the other person. You can use a little tape recording. You can run lines by yourself, but then you have a quick blocking, and you shoot.
So is it true that you guys have to remember, was it 15 pages of dialogue automatically and then everything else comes after?
No, I don't think it's quite like well, you answer this one, but on average it was about, back in the day, on average was 15 pages of dialogue.
Yeah, sometimes more and sometimes less.
Sometimes more, sometimes way more.
Yeah, sometimes way more.
Rarely way less. I mean, rarely you're coming in for 5 pages of dialogue.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a show,
Yeah, they rather want to use you.
yeah, you're not going to come in for like 3 pages.
No.
'Cause, but yeah, I had my most on all my children, and I hear this is these days less, but I had 59 pages of dialogue. I had 3.5 shows or something. So when I left the show, it was after Jillian had left. So I'd left the show too, and I'd come back. And when I came back, I had 59 pages, and it took me a week to learn
Oh
those.
my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it just depends.
Is it overwhelming at times?
Yeah, it can be. It can be over if you're prepared.
Mm-hmm.
It's not overwhelming. It's horribly overwhelming if you come in unprepared. Like, it's a horrible feeling when you don't know your stuff. Isn't that the worst feeling in the world? It's the worst.
horrible.
Like if you're running late and you had allotted a certain amount of time to get to the studio and kind of like freshen up on the dialogue, but then something happens and they're moving ahead and they need you up on set right away,
Yeah,
and you
it's
don't
like-
know your stuff
Yeah,
yet.
it's terrifying.
Horrible feeling. Yeah.
I still sometimes have dreams about it.
Yeah, me too.
Do you also have dreams about it?
100%.
Oh my goodness, I still have dreams about it.
I think I had a dream about General Hospital just the other night where I started on the show and I didn't know my lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Still.
I think you've been doing it all these years, Cameron. I think I definitely believe it's a no-brainer. I think you'll go in and you'll knock them dead.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yes.
All right.
you-
So we'll find out.
So we saw Ryan and Jillian get married for the second time. It was sweet. It was nice. What was that experience like? Because the first time, remember, you didn't marry for love. It was
We married for money.
Married for money.
Now, the first time was in the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where was the second one?
It was in the church too.
It was.
You guys were surprised in the church by Alex, I believe. Fanoli, she played Alex. I think it was Alex.
yeah.
And I think at the time they had switched the Dimitri on the show.
Oh, that's
They did. They had switched him.
Yeah,
I don't know what
I
happened.
remember that guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they had put the wedding together for you two.
Oh, that's
It was
right.
like the Hungarian.
Oh, I
wedding.
You're 100%
Yes,
right.
I think that's the picture I put up with the diamonds.
Yes, that's the
yes,
second
that's
one.
okay. Yeah,
That's
I was
the
wearing
one?
the diamond necklace.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, I had to have the bodyguard. Yes,
Oh man. Oh, the real like it was
the
a real
life.
diamond.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah.
How much was that necklace worth? Like
At the time, it was over $1 million, and then I had the thing was over $1 million, or like a lot. I had a bodyguard, like had to go with me to the toilet, like everywhere.
that's nuts.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's like back in the day soap operas. I remember when I started on All My Children, I was wearing like Gucci and Prada. Like that's crazy.
So so he was big.
Back in the day.
Sponsors, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like $1 million worth of jewelry that they borrowed, like I don't think they do that anymore. I don't know.
I guess they were like, you need to guard this like it's your own life, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
But
Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, but so that second wedding, it's sort of coming back to me a little bit now. That was a sweet storyline too. Gosh, we had some good storylines.
But
We had a great storyline.
That was a great storyline. I would say from there, we thought that Ryan and Jillian finally got their happy ending. And then you got shot. You were killed off the show.
Shortly after the wedding.
Yeah, right. Like a few months after the wedding.
That's
So
wow.
you guys did have like happy moments for a few months, and I believe that's when Anna Devane they wrote in Anna.
Oh yes.
Someone was looking for her.
Mm.
They had mistaken you for her.
Oh, that's right.
Shot
yes,
you in the
yes,
head.
yes.
That's why they thought you were her.
It-
And
it
then
was-
they had to donate her heart
They did
to
they
Laura.
did. Mhm.
I'm like, why would they do that? Because then she could come back. But when you're like get shot in the head and they cut your heart out, they put it in somebody else's body. It's tough to come back from that.
Yeah.
I didn't.
But then she played a ghost.
She did. Yeah. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
because that
Slow
was
down,
juicy.
slow down.
I want to ask: did the writers originally plan to kill off Jillian, or was it something that you kind of like last minute where you decided, hey, I need to take time off from the show? Because we really thought that Ryan and Jillian were gonna just have like that happy ending.
I have no idea. That's an Esta question.
Yeah, I was gonna move back to Los Angeles.
Oh, with your husband, right? For his work. And so that you told that to the show, so then they killed you off. So you knew for a while.
You didn't know?
No, I remember when they told me. And that's when I was like up at night.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mess. That was a mess. Yeah,
I
I didn't know that. No, when I was told that they were that Jillian was gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't told that just Esta's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I was told that you were gonna die, and that was devastating. It's like why do you have to kill her?
Yeah, that was.
I think we were all disappointed
Mm.
when they killed her off. But then, well, first, before we get to the whole ghost story, Cameron, I thought that you gave an amazing performance during the Jillian death scenes. Like, I thought, in my opinion, I think that that's some of the best work that you displayed on the show. And I was really surprised that you didn't win an Emmy for it.
Thank you.
So what I want to ask you is, in those scenes, did we see more of Cameron, Ryan, or a combination of both?
Yeah.
And were you coming to terms with the fact that Esther was leaving the show?
100%. 100%. It was like some of the easiest scenes I ever had to shoot. Because, yeah, it was very, you always draw, or at least I do, try to draw on personal experience or really strongly imagined experience. But this one was, my very, very, very close friend, somebody who I love dearly, was like leaving. And then the, the belief aspect that she's, being killed on the show. And it was like, it's just the scenes set it up itself. It was very easy to kind of go there. And,
It was really difficult for me to not cry. Me playing dead, not to. I actually did cry in this scene. Like I had tears.
when she was lying there, that's right. I
Like
remember.
tears running down. Playing dead was almost impossible
Yeah, I
with
remember
him.
that.
It was really difficult.
But then they brought you back as a ghost. I didn't personally like that storyline. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like it because I felt like if they were going to keep you as a ghost, why not just have you two together for the remainder of her time on the show?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they brought in Darnell Williams, who Jesse, he's supposed to have been dead at the time too. He was a ghost as well. I didn't quite understand that storyline. So were the writers trying to figure out what to do with Ryan and Jillian? Were they trying to figure out if they were going to keep you, or maybe you were going to have a change of heart and stay on the show?
They try to appease there was a big
Yeah,
reaction when
I think so.
Jillian was killed off, and and they got a lot of negative, press and stuff.
I
So
can
they try to
imagine.
fix it quick, right?
Mhm.
And they brought in back a beloved character in Jesse to help kind of smooth that over. And then they had Jill Larson. Opal was the medium to help kind of bridge the gap between the ghost heaven and in the real world. So they just tried, and it was also, so people know, it was totally supposed to be kind of more like, at the time, the TV show 6 Feet Under was very popular, where in that show, one of the characters, can't remember his name, would like turn one way and then turn back, and there would be a ghost of the deceased person there. And it would have a conversation. It was always in his imagination. And then he would turn back again, and then they'd go to a wide shot, and that would be gone. Like, it was very subtle and so well done. They wanted to do it like that, but then it ended up, goes through the
I think you
the
guys gotta
hierarchy,
do-
and then they started
Yeah,
popping
do
in.
that right
Then
now.
she started popping in like "I Dream of Jeannie," and it was like, well, what happened to 6 Feet Under? And I was all like, well, I Dream of Jeannie, which was cute because Jillian's always funny, but I think it could have been. I think you could have been a storyline that you loved. I liked it. Just because I got to work with Esta again, and I got to kiss Jill Larson, which was so fun.
Yeah, I remember that too. I was going to ask you, what was it like kissing Jill Larson?
It was awesome.
Because she's
I'll tell
funny
you why.
too. She just-
I'll tell you why. Because obviously it wasn't like a kiss. It wasn't like a romantic kiss, but it was just like a nice. It was a kiss, just a kiss peck on the lips, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't even, like by that time I'd been kissing people on TV and whatever. It was no big- So I went in to kiss Jill, who at the time I didn't necessarily, wasn't thinking of it like as a romantic kiss, but she was. It was just, and then she just kind of slowed it down, and she just gave me this soft, slow, just peck. It was just a peck on the lip, just a kiss, and I came out of it and I was like, oh. That was nice. like it just surprised me. You know what I mean? And look at Esther's mad at me.
I'm not mad at you.
No, it was really that it surprised me, and I was like, wow.
I think for me,
That was really nice.
when I go back and I watch those scenes of you as a ghost, it was difficult because I was like, I was just getting into like the love story. I thought it was amazing. It was great. And I'm like, they kill her off. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. And then as a ghost, it just didn't make sense because I didn't understand like what direction Ryan was going to go in. Because for a very long time, Ryan wasn't the same. He just wasn't the same. And I know that you had left the show. And I know that you did an interview when I did my research. You did an interview shortly after Esther left. And you talked about your struggles of doing the show with her not being there.
Yeah.
So how much of a struggle was it to continue on without Esther?
I think just bring me back.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Uh-huh.
That's right. You got to come on to General Hospital. That's the.
So we putting that out there, you guys. We
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
see Cameron and
That'd be
Esther
cool.
back together again.
It was hard, man. It was, there's a lot of great people on the show, and I had other friends and stuff, but it was really special what we had. Like I talked about, it was a magical time of my life. Like we were talking about this earlier, but my time with Esta was one of those periods of your life where you look back and it's like an absolute highlight, special feeling comes up when you think about a time of my life working with Esta. And that was now 4 years on to the show and doing other things. And
Do you remember who made the most money on Dick Clark blooper show?
You did?
Because I tripped so much.
Because you tripped so much.
I was
You
always tripping over my heels, my dress,
So
on our love scenes.
So there's a
and
show.
I had to be like sexy walking over.
That's the best. See, this is why she was she wore these huge heels and stuff, and she was always wiping out and tripping, and it just made it so fun and so real. And yeah, you probably cashed in on Dick Clark. You probably still do.
I did.
You still get checks?
No.
You should. Well, but yeah, it was hard.
Are you surprised that they didn't bring Jillian back from the dead? I know they cut your heart out. They donated it to Laura. But look, Jesse got shot and they brought him back. I mean, they had his body and they brought him back and he was a ghost with you. So I'm trying to figure out if they could bring him back, why they never explored the option to bring
why?
Jillian
Like
back.
why?
And did you
I have
kind of
no idea why.
Did you ever question that? Did you ever?
Did they come to you and ask you to come back? Ever? No? I just didn't know if they asked you and you said no. I don't know why. I really don't. It definitely came up. When All My Children was going off the air for good,
Yes.
they were bringing all these people back, And I'm like,
Oh yeah, then I came back.
I know, that was because of me.
Oh.
Really?
I went to them, I'm like, you gotta bring Jillian back. You have to.
So if it wasn't
because
for you,
they were overloaded. They had, big stars coming back, Rosie O'Donnell and
I
Carol
think
Burnett.
Josh Duhamel.
Wow.
Yeah, they had all these big stars coming back, and I was like, forget about the big like when I say big, Esta is a big star, but I mean
Yeah.
the celebrity stars that had come on the show as celebrities
Yes. Mhm.
were all coming back and paying tribute, and I was like, what about Jillian? And so
Oh.
they had to write it in, and they did, and I was like, it doesn't make sense.
I thought that was a
Thank
really
you.
sweet moment between you two. I was disappointed that it didn't happen sooner because it was like Ryan went through the whole grieving process of losing Jillian, but after that he just moved on. They put him with Kendu. Then from Kendu, I think you were with Greenlee.
Yeah, Greenlee, yeah.
And I think you and Rebecca were like always back and forth.
Back and forth, and then
Then it was
Annie.
Annie. I don't remember.
There may have been, and then Erica.
Then Erica, okay. But it was like he had just, in my opinion, I felt like the character of Ryan had kind of forgot about Jillian in a sense. Like we had never, like there was never any reference of her that I remember during those times.
There was, but it just they don't do a lot of that because they only do a lot of that if they're going to go down that road.
Yeah,
But
they want people to move on, like
Yeah.
get over it. Don't wanna.
But definitely when I had scenes with Rebecca and we talk about Leo and Jillian would come up, I'd bring up Leo and she'd bring up Jillian, and it was definitely in some of those scenes. But again, to your point, not very often.
Gotcha. Now your friends Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos are developing an All My Children reboot for primetime television. Would you guys return? I mean, would you be open to returning if that was a possibility?
1,000%. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it would have to be as Ryan and Jillian, though.
Yeah, you have to. You have to be
Yeah.
Ryan and Jillian, and actually I don't know this. I've heard that they're focusing on the Santos family and the Kane family. So I'm sure it would be like a peripheral, but even if it was just to kind of swing by and say hi, like it would be fun just to
Every
pop
couple
in
of
there.
episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know,
Yes.
primetime is like, what is it, an episode a week or once every couple of weeks?
Yeah.
It's not like an everyday type of a thing. Yeah, because
Well, they shoot every day, but yeah.
they shoot every day, but they just air it weekly.
Yeah. You're so young, you don't know that that's how shows used to be.
Because now it's different. Like now it's like you pick your camera up, you have YouTube.
Yeah, I know. You stream.
You
You
can
stream
stream
some. You can
now.
watch it all in one night.
And now, like for example, with this podcast, we can go into the studio and shoot multiple episodes in one day, and we just go to the editing room, we chop
Yeah.
it up, and we just air it over the course of sometimes a couple of months.
You always had to wait for the next episode back in the day. Always. It's driving me crazy to wait for the next Handmaid's Tale, like every week. I don't know. It's over.
Well, I'm gonna be the first person to say it. I may not be the first person, but I'm gonna be the first person on camera to say it. I definitely would love to see you two do something again, whether it's with Lifetime, Hallmark, even what YouTube is making original movies now. Facebook, we would love to see you two work together again. So I'm pushing it out there.
We should produce it.
Okay.
Yes, we should.
Yeah.
Okay. So you heard it first here on Wake Up. Yeah.
Let's speak it out in the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got.
I mean, they're doing reboots, and like there's no doubt that could be a reality for sure, 100%.
or even if it's not as Ryan and Jillian, it could be something brand new.
Yep.
Because I know Lifetime is always doing like different types of films and movies, so I definitely would love to see that come to light.
For sure.
So we just gonna keep putting it out there and putting it out there and putting it out there.
Great.
Yes.
So
I'm
Cam, oh go ahead.
I was just saying I'm in.
Yeah. Okay. So he's in, and
I'm
obviously
in,
you're
100%.
she's in. So we got to get a petition, guys, and we got to make it happen. We just simply got to make it happen. Cameron, earlier you talked about your cancer journey.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask you is, how did cancer change your life? And going through that whole experience, what was that ordeal like?
Yeah, it. You always hear the expression "life is short," but I think what's like missed. I think that saying is kind of missed in many different ways, and what's missed is the uncertainty of how short life is. Like we always. I always sort of took that as life is short, make the most of it now before I'm 85, 90 or something and I die. So you got a certain amount of time, life is short, make the most of it. But really, we don't know how short it is. And I'm like one of the healthiest, most disciplined people that I know, and I got kidney cancer, and from one perspective, almost died, and it's pay attention to your body, make the most of it, and obviously use it to use those moments, use the awareness of how short life could be to definitely make life as meaningful as you can now. And that doesn't mean people hear that and sometimes they're like, yeah, life's short, I'm going to go to Vegas and party like a rock. Like, no, do things for others, volunteer, improve your inner qualities, you do things like that. I'm not talking about going out and making lots of money and gaining cars and houses and stuff, because when you die, none of that matters. None of it matters.
Absolutely.
Realize what's important,
Yeah.
People.
Yes.
Absolutely right.
I'm getting
And
goosebumps.
to piggyback off of that, I believe that it's very important, and I always tell people to be kind to one another, be compassionate, always remain gracious, and especially in the field of work that you guys do, it's easy to get caught up in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sometimes when you get caught up in it, it's like you don't realize the things that are happening around you.
Yeah, 100% true. It's happened to me in this business for sure, multiple times.
Well, I commend you because you guys seem to be very humble. And
Cameron is one of the nicest, kindest, most wonderful people I have ever met.
I feel the
I've
same
ever
way.
known. Yes.
I feel like she's gonna cry.
I feel the same way.
No, I'm not gonna cry.
She's not going to cry.
No.
I've heard that about you too, that you two are just really down to earth, nice people.
Thank you.
And it's, again, in this industry, it's hard because I've come across people that are not like that. And they say, well, I'm where I am, where I want to be now in life, so all that other stuff doesn't matter. And I tell people, no, once you get to the top, you still want to be better than you was yesterday. You want to be a nicer person, as we just said earlier, a more compassionate person. So again, I commend you two for just holding on to your values and just staying true to your authentic selves.
Thanks, man.
Thank
Means a
you.
lot.
Esther, I want to ask you, you're from South Africa.
Yes.
I've never been to Africa. I really would love to go one day. I want to ask you, what was it like to transition from Africa to America? And what was it like growing up in Africa?
Growing up in South Africa, and Africa was amazing. It was one of the most wonderful experiences of my life. Very different. I grew up on a farms with lots of animals, and coming to America was a complete culture shock. Very different.
In what way would you say it's different?
Everything was different, just absolutely everything. And going to New York was completely different. This concrete jungle.
It's fast paced for sure.
Very fast paced. It was very different. It was really difficult for me to adjust to a different country. But I go back a lot. So I go between the countries. So to me, it's now I live here, I live there. So yeah, I like both countries.
Okay.
Yeah.
The fans want to know, what has Esther been up to since leaving All My Children? Because they ask constantly, we want to know more about her. And it just seems like there's not enough information out there. I know that at one time we saw you on Twitter years ago. I know you're back on Facebook, but we want to know, what are you up to now?
Well, I have my own business,
Okay.
and
Can you tell us a little bit about it? Because we want to know.
it's a spa. It's a health business,
Oh.
and then I've also been working in South Africa. So yeah, I've been traveling back and forth.
So you kept yourself busy.
Yes.
Would you ever go back into acting?
Yes.
I think you did something in 2013. It was a short film. I don't remember the name of it.
Yes.
Yeah. And you didn't speak at all in the film.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, you were. That was interesting. That was a different type of a film, but I liked it. I liked the direction it went in.
Yes, thank you.
But we want to see you two back together. I have to keep speaking it into existence. So again, somebody's got to write it. Somebody's got to produce it. I'll even come on as a co-producer or producer. But we definitely want you guys to do something else. I think the fans would love it. I think that it would be a hit, like you two were on All My Children.
I think you're right.
What do
Yeah,
you
I
think
think
needs
so.
to happen for that to happen?
Well, I think like anything that kind of gets pitched and gets made these days, obviously you need to kind of have a good story, and you gotta, get a good team behind it, raise a little bit of money, or sell it to something like a Lifetime or a Hallmark. I mean, or I don't know how it works on YouTube or Amazon or Netflix or something, but you gotta put together the pitch and you gotta give them the version and either raise money or sell it to make it your own, and then kind of find a place for it to air, or they pay for it and then they own more of the back end. But I think it'd be
amazing.
Yeah, or we both end up on General Hospital or something.
Can you talk to us about your role in General Hospital, or is it still?
Yeah, I don't know a ton. It's funny because Frank Valentini, who's like this genius executive producer over there, who's created such an amazing, created such a long longevity of this great show, is really careful about leaking information to the point where I think I was given some fake information just to see if I was going to leak it. Because the information that I originally got is not the information that I recently got. So I'm not allowed to say anything about the character. I haven't started working there yet. I actually don't know when I'm going to start working there, even though it was supposed to start this week, but I don't know.
I remember you
have not got a first day, haven't seen a script. I texted and managed to get like a set visit day next week. So next week I'm going to go do a set visit and see how they shoot there and see how much material they're doing and meet hair and makeup and wardrobe and stuff. But I know so little, so it's exciting but scary.
I'm excited and I'm very curious to see how you'll fit in on General Hospital, because General Hospital is a great soap.
What if you're playing Ryan?
I know that I'm not playing Ryan.
Sorry.
I know, because I don't think they have all the characters that they had from One Life or All My Children. They had to have them exit the show, and they can bring the actors back, but it's different characters.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think I can play
I think they went through a legal dispute with Prospect Park, but I think that they won. So I think they licensed the characters off to Prospect Park for a certain amount of years, and I just read, I believe, maybe last year or in 2019, that ABC owns the rights to all of the characters now.
Yeah, that's why Mark and Kelly went to ABC.
Okay, they went to ABC. Yeah. Okay. So now, I guess if they wanted to, which I know you say Ryan isn't coming to General Hospital, but if they wanted to, I'm sure that could be a possibility.
I think it would be even in a way more fun to see these two characters, these two people come together, playing different people, but the audience all knows the history and the chemistry. That could be even
I think
cooler.
it would be a hit. So we have to vouch. Esther, we want you in General Hospital. We just want to see you two do something.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, or we'll produce our own.
Yes.
There you go. So Cameron, I want to ask you, are you cancer-free today?
Yep. I mean, I can't say 100% for sure today, but my last MRI, CT scan, whatever I got, an X-ray, were all clear, and that was about, I think about less than 6 months ago.
Okay.
So yeah, and it all looks good.
Health is wealth.
I'm working with a new health and fitness coach that's so incredible and really getting at the core of some of those issues that I've had. I mean, obviously not related to cancer, or maybe sort of related, but and I feel really good and strong. I'm 51. I'm going to be 52 this summer, and
really,
I'm like, I feel great.
I didn't think you were.
You're healthy. You're good. You're good.
You guys look really good for your age, so I didn't know that you were that old. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on to the podcast and just talking to us about Ryan and Jillian. It's been years since you guys have been together. I know the last time, Esther, you were telling me that you guys just broke down and cried 10 years ago as All My Children wrapped up. Yeah. Hopefully today, you might get a little bit of tears. Because it's probably been 10 years, I'm sure that you guys have seen each other.
We already had them. we had some tears earlier. Yeah.
Okay, I probably didn't catch that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you guys were able to just reconcile and see one another and catch up. I thought it was important because All My Children, they do a lot of reunions. We always see, of course, we see you, we see Kelly, Mark, I think Eva.
Yeah.
So many different people over the years, and my biggest question has always been, well, where's Ryan and Jillian? Why do we never get a reunion with them? So that was part of the reason why I felt like I needed to figure out a way to get you two together, because people were saying, like when I expressed that I love the characters, I love the show, people were saying, well, would you ever consider trying to get them on the show? And for me, I never thought that it would happen. I don't know why. I was like, I don't know if they would come on to my podcast, but I said, you know what, I'm going to try, because nothing beats a failure but to try. And they showed up, as you guys can see, and we appreciate it, and would love to have you guys back again. Would love to see you guys do something else. But there is another question I want to ask before I let you two go.
Okay.
And I feel like I have the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So Cameron,
Yeah.
it's always been a debate in the later years. Is it Ryan and Greenlee or Ryan and Jillian as the end goal?
Yeah, you know the answer.
I know the answer.
And with Rebecca sitting right here, we've been asked this, you know, in the same room together, and it's Ryan and Jillian, like for sure. And it's Greenlee and Leo, like that's her for sure. And that's what made Ryan and Greenlee kind of make sense, is because we both lost our true love. And that really was a connection that made us really special. And I loved my time with Rebecca. But as far as like, if you look at it, I mean, yeah, it's got to be Ryan
Ryan and Jillian.
Yeah.
So you guys heard it out of Cameron's mouth. It's Ryan and Jillian. Okay. So how does it feel? We're wrapping up. How does it feel to see each other? I know I asked that question. Like, what? Now that you guys have sat down, had a chance to speak with one another, just now that we're at the end of the interview, how does it feel?
It feels really great, and thank you so much for having us.
No problem.
It was really very special. Thank you for coming, Cam.
I feel very privileged.
Is it a little like surreal on some level for you? For me, it was so heartwarming when I walked in the door and I saw you sitting there, and it's just like all these memories flashing. But at the same time, it's like, it's also, you know, when you have 25 years of knowing somebody, it's like all those things. It's like surreal. It almost doesn't even, you know, I don't know. There's something about it that seems. I don't know. I guess the word surreal just keeps coming up because we just don't see each other enough. So we got to see each other more.
Yeah.
Well, when we start working together, it'll be more.
Yes, when we start working together, it'll be.
Just don't let it be
We'll
another
catch
10
up.
years, because I know that's
No.
No. It's not going to be that long again.
I'm not leaving here without your phone number either. I know
Yes.
your missus, like, I don't know, tough to get in touch with. I can't find you on social media.
I'm getting. I posted you last night.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
Yes, I did.
Well, thank you
Thank
guys
you so
so
much.
much. I appreciate
Thanks,
this.
man.
Has been an amazing experience. I love soaps, and again, there's more to come. So
All right.
stay
Thank you.
tuned.